Well, hello there, stamping friends. This is Traci Raether from Plum Crazy Stamping, and today is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. So happy to have you join me today for my card making lesson. I'm coming to you from Middleton, Wisconsin, and you can watch this on Facebook Live. And also, this is being broadcast on YouTube. As you are coming on today, please sign in. You can use the comments and let me know your name, where you're watching from. It's always wonderful to see who is tuning in. If you are on YouTube, please make sure that you are either in your Google account or your YouTube account, and then you can use the comments as well. So I would also appreciate if you like what you're seeing today to give me a thumbs up or a heart, and also share this video with your friends. The more people that we can introduce to paper crafting, the more people we can have fun with doing our favorite thing, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So today I'm going to revisit something that I shared with you a little while back. And then I'm going to share with you what I want to do to be able to share the cards that I made with other people. And so, hello, Kathy. Good afternoon to you as well. I'm going to go back to the mini catalog because there's great pictures in here, but this suite of products is now available in the online exclusives. So it's in my Stampin' Up! Store under the category of online exclusives. And if you'll recall, let me go ahead now and I'm going to shift so that you can see my desktop. I am going to share cards that were from Storybook Moments. And just in revisiting this is a mega suite. There were 2 bundles. That means 2 different stamp sets that have matching dies. There were 2 sets of designer series paper. There was gems that matched, ribbon that matched, and this goes with a whole lot of colors in our color collections. Hi, Glenda. Nice to see you. So let me just share that quick with you. And I actually want to share the catalog just to point out the featured portion of the 12 by 12 paper that I used to make 27 cards in no time, and also that I still have more of these images left, and I'm going to actually use them on the special box that I'm going to make to gift these cards to other people. So this was a whole sheet of die cuts, and it made making these cards very, very easy. And then let me share the other parts and pieces with you right on camera here, because it'll be a little easier to see. And so today is really the last day I'm going to be featuring or really talking about all of these cute character images that are part of Storybook Friends. And now I'm looking forward to doing something with the second bundle in this set, which was called the Storybook Garden Patch. And so you can see that there are a whole lot of opportunities, even scrapbooking opportunities with that bunch. Plus, the dies ran out very quickly the first time because of these frame dies. So I'll show those to you. Let me see if there's anything else. Nope, that's kind of just to remind you what this suite looked like. And so, as I said, I really did a lot with the Storybook Friends and those die cuts. And then these were the second part of the bundle here that had these excellent frames. These were so popular for so many reasons. So that is still available online exclusives. And then this is the second bundle in this suite, and that's the Storybook Garden Patch. I can't tell you how excited I am. This weekend, we're hoping to get outside and get some of our gardening going. So I'll have to use that set to share information with you. just part of the 12 by 12 paper here that was with those die cuts. Now the sheet of die cuts I have all punched out, so I'll show you those too, because I'm going to use them on this special box that I'm making today. But there was a whole lot of fun things in this paper, and I could now use the dies and cut the little storybook friends out myself without having to have them die cut. So there's still so much I can do with this paper. Anyway, and then I'm choosing to use the other paper to help embellish what I'm going to make today. So this was the second set of paper. This one's called Timeless Plaid. And I'll tell you, okay, this is perfect for this sweet collection, but anytime I can get my hands on plaid paper, I do that because there are so many things that it will go with. And I loved this set of paper because it hits like every season, from spring to Christmas to fall and summer, with these beautiful colors. So if you like plaid, this is a wonderful set of designer series paper, and there's 48 sheets in there. All right, let's go ahead, and I'm going to say, you know what, this might be one of those times that you might want to work along with me. And if you want to, all you're going to need today is one piece of cardstock, and then the embellishing part that I'm going to share with you in the end, you could just catch up with later. So you could use any piece of cardstock. So if you have a set of cards you've made recently that are in a certain color, then I would pick a piece of cardstock in that color. If you're not sure how you want to use this, this is one thing that I would encourage you to make a pattern. So what I'm actually have is just some, this is basic white cardstock, and this is my pattern. And this is what reminds me how to do this. And actually, you could write the measurements on here, which I haven't taken the time to do because I have them on a little piece of scrap paper. But anyway, maybe you want to make a pattern today while you're watching me. And all that takes is one 8.5 by 11 sheet of any kind of cardstock that you have. So then you'll have it to refer to, because I think once you make this, you're going to be off and rolling. Okay, so let's go ahead and just show you how easy it is to get started with this. Now what I'm creating is a box. Let me show you this so that you can see it. And then I'll show you how to put it together. So this box, now there's tons of boxes all over, you know, YouTube, people's websites. This is going to be on my blog, so you'll have it to refer to. I'm going to send the instructions out next week in my weekly email, but this is the box, okay? And then I'll show you how I use it and different things you can do with the box, but this is the basic box that we're going to be making together, okay? And I'm just using Old Olive today. And I'll say, oh, hi, Donna and Betty. Nice to see you, ladies. Okay. Also, on my desktop here is my Simply Scored tool. Now, our trimmer from Stamping Up also has a scoring blade. So you can use this. But I'll tell you, when I'm making the box and I'm doing so many scores and I'm flipping my cardstock around, it's really easy to put this on here because it just holds it right in place. I don't have to be lining it up on those little lines on my trimmer. So this is just a little bit easier, especially if I'm making a number of these boxes all at the same time. Okay. So the nice thing is it comes with its own stylus, and there is a little bit larger ball and a smaller one. I like to use the larger one if I can, and if I'm scoring vellum, I make sure to use the larger end, because if you push too hard on vellum, you can tear it. Now, I will likely not tear this regular cardstock, our regular weight cardstock, whether I use the small end or the big end, but I'm going to use the larger end. Let's see if I need to tell you anything else as far as Well, let me just show you with my pattern how easy this is going to be. So what I'm going to be doing on my scoring tool, the first thing I'm going to do is, this is the top of the cardstock, and that's the only part that I do different than all of the other sides. This is actually a 2-inch score on the top. That's the only thing you have to remember. And because that's the one different measurement that I have to do, I'm going to do that one first. And then I'm going to follow that by 1 inch. Okay. Then I'm going to do the other 3 sides, all have 2 score lines at 1 inch and then at 2 inches because they're an inch apart. And then from there, we're going to go to our trimming to make this ready to put together. We're going to use special adhesive today. We're going to use tear and tape because we're creating this 3D project, and we want this to stand up. If people are putting things in and out of this box, we don't want it falling apart. So that's why I'm going to be using tear and tape today. Okay, so with that said, all right, I want to do the 2-inch. So I'm going to put the top of my cardstock. So this is the, I put the 11-inch side along the top of my scoring tool, okay? So that I have what is really the smaller 8.5 inches across this way. And this is where I want to create the first score line at 2 inches. And so what's so nice is there is a groove in here at 2 inches. And I'm going to put the tip of this right in that 2-inch mark. And I am just going to press straight down, and I've got the first score line. Now I'm going to add 1 inch. So I am going to go to the 3 inches, and I'm just going to go straight down. Okay. The top of my cardstock now is all ready to go. So now I'm going to go to the first side. Hi, Mary Ellen. Glad you could tune in. And now I'm going to do 2 score marks on the next 3 sides of this piece of cardstock. So I'm going to first do it at 1 inch, and then I'm going to do it at 2 inches, which makes it 1 inch apart. Then I'm going to turn this, and now I'm to the bottom of the box, and I'm going to do 1 inch, and then another inch, which is at the 2-inch mark. And now the bottom is scored. Now, am I clipping along, you guys? All right. Now we're going to go to the bottom. Or I'm sorry, the other side. Bottom is done. And once again, 1 inch. And then the 2-inch mark. And really the hard work, you guys, is done. All right. So I'm going to get my simply scored tool out of my way. Oh, and you know what? I know I'm going to need my bone folder. We're not quite there yet, but let's make sure I have that. Okay. Now, when you look at the pattern, you can see what we need to do is we're going to do some trimming before we actually do our folding up on our score lines. Okay. And so let me just take my pen here. And as I want to put this together, so, you know, when you have a pattern, it's easy to look at this. And you can see when you put your pattern over this, there you go, you're going to be able to very quickly identify what you're going to be cutting off of here. So another good reason for having a pattern. I don't have to remember this all the time, although once I start going, now I haven't done this for a while, so I have to kind of be step by step so I don't forget. I'm just marking off all of the squares on here where I'm going to be cutting it out. And by setting my pattern down here, it helps remind me of that, okay? So I'll set that off to the side. And now what I want to do, and it's easier, yes, you could use your little fussy cutting scissors. I'm going to use that more for trimming my tabs, but I like to have actually a little bit longer scissors because the longer blade helps me to make straighter lines. And then as I'm looking at this, you can tell that, it's longer here where I'm on the top. And what I do is I just put my scissors right on the score line and I snip. And then with this one, since I'm taking off both these sections, I am going to start back here at the score line and I'm going to snip to that corner, okay? And then I'm going to do the short end here again, snip that, and then the longer score line. And that part is trimmed, except I'm going to just cut in around this baby tab here, okay? So just going to make the snip, make that snip. Same here. And right here. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this to the other side, and you can see I have 3 of the squares that I'm actually going to cut out here. And so we'll go the long way, kind of get off what we did this, on the other part of the box. But this is the bottom, so there's a smaller folded over area. And now we're going to trim along here. And I'm going to do this shorter tab. Okay, and now the other thing is to remember I need little tabs here. So I'm just going to go in there and go on this side. Okay, so now that all of our tabs are cut as tabs and we have everything cut off that we need, let's see here. I need to trim the tabs because they're going to get folded inside of another piece of paper. So the thing to do is to go from the outside of the tab into the corner and just make a tiny triangle. This will make this tab easier to slide inside when I am putting this together. So once again, this one. Oops. And this one. Okay, and then on this side, we're going to leave this part flat, but we're going to do the tab part here that gets folded inside. Same on this. Okay, so now we've got all of our tabs. So I'm just going to get all of this scrap out of my way. And now we're going to use our bone folder and we're going to get all of the score lines. And I am going to fold everything inward. So I'm going to just flip this over because remember we fold everything to where the bump is, okay? And so I'm just going to start on one side and I'm going to fold the tab part along with these. And just kind of do the whole side at one time. And just take my scoring tool here, my bone folder, get those nice crisp edges so that this will look nice and crisp. Okay, and then we have an additional fold for the side to create the structure for our box. So it'll be a little thicker because we have this extra fold on the sides. Okay, and I'm going to go to the exact opposite side, do the same thing. Okay, And now I'm going to do the bottom of this same thing. This one has, first we're going to do the most inner score line. Now we're going to fold this again. Okay, now I'm going to take the top of the box and first fold this one that's right at the base or underneath our box, and then do this wider piece which sits at 2 inches. Okay, so now we've got all of this creased and ready for us to do. I'm first going to add the adhesive before I start doing any assembly. Okay, and so one of the things that let me just kind of show you how this goes so you'll know why we put the adhesive where we do. And on your pattern, it might be nice to just take a highlighter and highlight where you would put the tear and tape so you kind of remember where to put it, okay? So anyway, what we do when we put this together is we're going to have the bottom of the box, and we're going to fold over the first 1-inch flap, and then we're going to bring that tab in. And then we're going to take the side 1 inch and the side on this side. And then you're going to have tear and tape inside here, which is going to hold this in place. Okay. And then for this side, at the same time, before you push it down real hard, you're going to put in the tabs from the top at the same time, okay? So they're going to go in like this. All right, and that makes the basic box, and we're going to have the tear and tape inside the sides and on the bottom here to fold this together, all right? And then the top is, you have these flaps. Do you put them outside or do you put them inside? So we put them inside so that the side of your box is not interrupted with a little, piece of cardstock sticking out. It'll stay smooth, and you can leave the box like this, or I'm going to show you how to embellish this with designer series paper. So that means that the tear and tape is going to go on the opposite side of our box. The other part is going to go on the inside. So let me just show this to you first. So I'm going to just take tear and tape. And the great thing about tear and tape is literally you start putting it where you want it and you tear it, and it tears right with your hand. So on these flaps, I am going to, let's see here. I want them to be on the bottom of what I put in here. So I'm going to put it on the outside of the flap, right along that edge. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. All right, so it kind of looks like it's on the outside, but we're going to be folding it in, so that's why that's there. Now let's just open this back up and put the 3 pieces of tear and tape that we want inside. So on this one, we're going to put it on the farthest edges of these 3 flaps. So the nice thing is when you put your tear and tape on, it still has that adhesive covering over it. So you can make a whole bunch of these, stack them up, and then sometime you can be folding them all up at the same time, and you won't have any glue needed, and you won't have anything that's sticky because this is all just ready for you to peel off that adhesive covering and, glue it together when you're ready. So this is one of those projects when you want something to keep busy with your hands. you can have this all ready to go and then make a whole bunch of boxes when you need them. Okay, so there is all the adhesive that we're going to need to make our box is on these 3 edges. Okay, now I'm going to take the first one and I'm going to, now if you need take your pick tool. That's one of the things that really helps with this. Or you can, pick at it till it comes off. Right, but I'm going to make the bottom of the box first. So I'm just going to fold it over, and this double, layer of cardstock is for structure. Okay, now I'm going to take off both sides of the adhesive. Now, if you don't have tear and tape, the second choice I would use is Seal Plus, because you'll have extra strength. If you don't have Seal Plus, it's probably a horse apiece whether you would use the multi-purpose liquid glue or regular seal, or maybe some mini glue dots, because you want to make sure that this is going to stay together, okay? All right, so now I'm going to create the tabs in the right place, and I'm going to fold them forward here and here, and just keep this part, out of my way, right? Just leave it straight. And then I'm going to do one side at a time. And it's to get that tab inside there. Kind of hold it, get the tab inside there. Kind of hold it, and then on each side, press that together. I kind of grabbed where the tab is and where the tab is by holding it square. Okay, and there's one side. Now we'll do that same thing again. So I'm going to hold this so it's square up against here, square up against here, so that when I fold this down, it catches it in the tear and tape. So I'm not pressing until I get it square, okay? And then your box. This is really pretty heavy duty once you get that 2 layers in there. All right, then now we're ready to make the top of our box. Now, why I say top, it can be top or bottom, but top is because that's where I'm going to decorate, actually. So we'll peel that first part off. We'll peel the second part off. Second piece of tear and tape here. Okay. And then this is the thing that, as you slide it forward, you're just going to make sure that it's square. And then you're going to push down that tape once it's square. Now, isn't that gorgeous? If you have cardstock that isn't necessarily matching your designer series paper, but you've got a lot of cardstock or whatever, this is a perfect way to use it up on these gift boxes. Okay, so you can leave it just like this, okay? Now let me show you how you can how we can use this, and then I'm going to show you how we can embellish it. So these are some of those cards that I was sharing with you. I made 27 cards. I just want to point out something so that when you're thinking about how many cards and envelopes fit in one of these, the thickness of your card is what matters, okay? If you recall, if you were looking at the Facebook Live that I did when I made these cards, these were very vanilla. These were not thick cardstock. They were regular. Did they have a little dimensional? Some of them did. But really, this is a pretty straightforward card. It's not a fun fold. And all of these kind of were made like that, okay? So, one number of cards that's nice to give. Sometimes I do 3, but really in a box like this, I think 4 is a very nice number. And especially if you would have fun folds. Then putting 4 in here, you wouldn't want to go more than 4. And I would share envelopes, when you give people cards. So here I've got, 4 very vanilla envelopes. So I'm going to put that in here first. Okay. And so that fits right in there perfectly. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the 4 cards and I'm going to put those in here. Okay. So you could present it like this. You also, when we get the, let me see if I have one of these in here. When you get your photopolymer stamp sets, before you take the stamps off and put them in your case, you know how it's on a window sheet? Well, I take all of them off the window sheet. I put them on the inside. I keep this very flexible. This is just a piece of plastic sheeting. This isn't like a window sheet. This is stiff. Well, anyway, the window sheets that are inside one of our regular stamp sets fits in this case perfectly. I save these, except for you just got to cut the end of this off. So you know how sometimes you'll get hard plastic on a set of cards that you would buy, in a card store. So let's see. I just want to see how much of this. I would probably just cut. We can try 3/4 of an inch. It might need a whole inch taken off of this window sheet, but let's try 3/4 and see if that works. If it'll fit in there snug. Cuts really nice with your trimmer. And actually that does fit. So then it's actually in here and it's protected. And you know what? I need to probably wash these off before I put them in there with the card. But that's a way that you can use all these window sheets. So I always save them. And you could also buy window sheets, in a packet. And you could do that for your card. Okay. So this is like, now here's 4 cards, just the cards and envelopes, and in something you can give to someone. But let's step it up. So here's another one of those boxes that I made. And I took one of the designer series paper. It matches all the colors of these cards, right? And how easy is this? I just took a 1/4 inch off of all the measurements. So instead of 2 inches, this is 1 3/4 by 4 1/4 instead of the 4 1/2. Okay, so now I can do tear and tape again, or I can just go to my regular glue to do this. So I'm just going to use my regular multi-purpose glue here. And if you wanted to and knew you were going to decorate all this, you could do this before you put your card together or card box together, right? Might be a little easier to glue it down and get it all straight. Oh boy, that isn't straight. By doing it flat. Once again, I love this plaid because it's going to go with all the cards. Okay. Then I have the longer edges. So I have 2 of these. And this is 5 3/4 by 3 1/4. So that's why the 6-inch designer series paper worked really well for this. I didn't have a lot of leftovers. Then I'm just going to put that along this edge. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same over here. Okay, and then I've got just 3/4 inch strips that are 4 1/4. I have 2 of them, one for the top of the side and the bottom of the side. I don't have something glued in here very well. All right. Oops, let's get this. All right, so how easy was that to just decorate our box with the little designer series paper? Those could actually be scraps that we're using. Okay, glue all over my finger here. All right, and then like I said, as we're using this as the top, then I'm going to go back to all of those die cuts where I still have some of these die cuts left. I just need to get this open here. There we go. And I'm just going to pick any one of the die cuts. Because I have these all cut. So sometimes I'll have packages like this of fussy cut images. And sometimes I have them of, you know, the die cuts that were in here. And one of the things that I'm going to do just to make this little duck stand out a little more is, I wish I had my circle punch here. I don't right now, but before I glue this down, I'm going to do a circle punch and I'm going to put him right on here with a dimensional. Let me just see if I have my circle punch over here. Just happen to have 3 of them right here. So let's see what size circle punch. 1 3/8, 1 1/4, 1 3/4. Let's see how that one looks, because I know we're on that 2-inch piece. So I'm just going to kind of line this up. Okay. And, oh yeah. And then I'm going to use a dimensional on this guy. So first I'm going to glue this on here. You know what I like? The designer series paper. It's kind of meant to go together. I think I'm going to center it right there. Just let it kind of set up. And then I'm going to do a couple of dimensionals on my little duck. Hi, Betty. Yes, you go back and you'll want to watch it from the beginning, because maybe then you can make a pattern for yourself of this nice box. Oh, Don, I'm glad you like the decorating of it. And there we've got our little duck. Okay. And let's see, now we have, well, here's 3 cards, but to put those in there. Now, isn't that look pretty? So what else can we do to kind of step these up? So we've got this. What about this beautiful ribbon that goes with this? So we could always go ahead and you could use the designer series paper as well. And we could just tie, I'm going to just tie a bow on here. Let's see here if I have enough ribbon. So another way to finish these off, and I don't know about you, but I always have a ton of ribbon. You could actually, if you have thin ribbon, you could put a couple of them together in colors that all match this and make a big bow. there. Now I would cut that. I'm going to not waste the ends, but isn't that pretty? And that would be pretty if you did it right on this kind of designer series paper too. So I just wanted to show you this one. I actually have 8 cards in this one because they're the thinner cards. And I have the 8 envelopes in here. And I could get all of these. And they all have dimensionals, and they still fit in here. So you can go, you know, for any number of cards, you know, depending upon what you want to have happen here. But like I said, I would make the pattern. So don't forget your pattern. Write your directions right on your pattern. And then like this has gems. You could, I'm going to actually add the gems to this one. These are so pretty. So, you know, how you decide to decorate this is all up to you. But people could also be able to use this box over and over again. Not quite. There we go. All right, so adding some gems really adds a little bit to it as well. Or you could do all three. Put the ribbon, then put the duck on there, and then add embellishments, and this would be beautiful. And whether or not you have the window sheets, it's just another way to use what you might have hanging around and make it look very professional. So I don't know if you have any questions. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Donna. Hi, Kathy. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. And I'll just remind you that there's still the 4 free card, 4 free 4-card tutorial available if you buy $50 worth of Stampin' Up! Products from me by the end of the month. Also, there is an awesome, if you want to join the Plum Crazy Stamping team and get $66 worth of product free when you buy $99 worth of product. You will also get a free paper pumpkin. You'll get a catalog and some other business supplies. And you'll be able to join my team where we have things that we do together as a team, which is a bonus. So if you want to talk to me about that, don't hesitate to email me at Traci, Traci, at plumcrazystamping.com. And if you have any other questions about Stampin' Up! Or paper crafting, please reach out. I'm here to help you. And let's see, the next time that I'm going to talk to you, you could put on your desk and put notepaper in it. Oh, yeah, great idea, Betty. Sorry, I kind of stopped what I was saying. But anyway, I'm here to help, and don't hesitate to reach out to me. And have a wonderful day, and happy stamping, friends. Take care. Until next week. Bye-bye now.